Just before we start today's video, I wanted to wish a very happy belated birthday to Thieving over there in the close friends category. They just turned X years. I didn't bother asking because it was awkward. Happy birthday, buddy. Just a quick side note before I start again. After finishing recording this, I went on YouTube and found this video from Knowledge Hub, which recaps everything much better than I did, and more funny, so their video is probably better to go to. They're not a Pokemon fan, but they know what they're talking about, so that's fun. Anyway, on to the video. Pokemon is a multi-billion-dollar franchise. It exceeds that of Star Wars and many other major brands out there. The community is friggin' massive, and it appeals to all ages. However, when you really break it down, it's not really about the video games or the anime or the cards. It's about selling merchandise. The games, the anime, and the Pokemon card game all exist to promote their merchandise, and the way they do this is they release a new game every year, they release a card set to go with those games, and a whole bunch of booster packs that are based around that set, and then the anime launches, which also advertises those games to any children who will be watching it on their Saturday morning cartoons. Pokemon's main sales don't come from the games, they come from their merchandise. This is why they can afford to cut corners on the games, because they know that A, we're going to buy them regardless, and B, they're going to sell more merchandise than the games will ever sell on the shelves anyway. The video games only serve to advertise the new generations of the Pokemon so they can make more plushies, more cards, and add more to the anime, which brings in more revenue for them, but it's the merchandise that sprouts from these new generations that they really care about. The video games are like a small sliver of profit in comparison to how much they make off of these plushies. The games do, however, still serve a function in the grand scheme of things because they introduce the new generations. They give us more Pokemon that GameFreak can make merchandise off of. Without the video games, the generations wouldn't improve and they would remain stagnant. Even though they could improve them through the anime and the card game, video games are the most telltale way to do it. The whole reason Sword and Shield looks so bad is because they can't delay this game. It would delay the card game, it would delay the anime, and it would delay the merchandise. And they don't want that because that's a lot of lost revenue on their part, because the games are kind of like the core of this all. Their merchandise depends on it, and the merchandise is what really makes them the money. So if they delay the game, they delay the merchandise, which delays their income, and they kind of need to rely on that, because that's what keeps them nice and warm in the winter. And we all know Game Freak doesn't want to lose sales around Christmas time. And then you gotta stop and think, Game Freak is only about 143 developers, and only a fraction of those are working on Pokemon Sword and Shield. The other ones are working on Town, and there was another group who was working on Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I don't know what they're doing now, but they're not working on this project. So if Game Freak is getting this many complaints about the No National Dex thing, about the graphics and everything, you would think, well, why don't they just hire more developers to help them reach their deadline? I don't have an answer for that. See, they can afford to. They really, really can, but they just don't do that. With Game Freak, you kind of have to throw all logic and reason out the door. They've moved up to a new console, but haven't really worked with the hardware itself, and are just sticking to what they know with the handheld versions, including the animations. So then why wouldn't Game Freak hire more game developers? Well, I think it's going to tie back into merchandise. These games' sole existence is to promote their merchandise. Their anime, their card games, it's all just for the sake of profit. But wouldn't be making a better game be making more profit? Not if they know that we're just gonna buy it anyway. See, we're a pretty dedicated fan base. They put something on a plate, no matter how revolting it is, we will eat it. Just because it has our favorite critters on it. Except this time, our favorite critters aren't on it. They're all locked off in Pokemon Home, and we have to wait till another game to transfer them. They have our Pokemon at ransom, which is why hashtag bring back the National Dex is such a huge issue. But here's the biggest and most important thing about this. Game Freak does not care about you. They simply care about your wallet. They want the good stuff, the green, the moolah. And for that reason, the merchandise will always overshadow the games. They care more about their merchandise than they do the quality they're putting into Pokemon Sword and Shield, for the reason that they know that we're just going to buy it anyway. No matter how much we whine, or complain, or make up hashtags, it's not going to do a thing, because you know you're still gonna buy it, I know I'm still gonna buy at least one of them, and they're going to sell merchandise off it. It's the sad truth that, honestly, you don't matter, I don't matter, no one in this community matters so long as Game Freak is making small pieces of paper that buy them things. Their team is so small in the game development department because they know they're not really there to make a good quality game, they're there to make something that's going to sell merchandise. They're removing features because it's going to be easier to develop Dynamaxing than it is putting in Mega Evolution, Z-moves, and everything all over again. There are some quality of life improvements in Sword and Shield, like no more HM slaves or anything like that, but at the end of the day, the trade-off of losing Pokemon entirely and losing gameplay just so we don't have to use HMs and so we can grow our Pokemon to Godzilla's size, is it really worth it? And this won't just end with Sword and Shield, this is going to continue into every game from this point forward. They're going to start to care less and less and less and put in the bare minimum because that's all that's required of them. That's what's going to make them money. And if they're making money doing what works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Except this is broken. Our fans, that includes you, Meteor Mash, deserve much, much better. And I know, a lot of us are still looking forward to these games, but they've just given up, I think. They've given up all creativity just for the sake of money. At the end of the day, Game Freak really isn't a company, it's a business. Anyway guys, sorry about the negativity there. It is my opinion. I am entitled to that opinion. It's probably wrong. I'm not stating any of this as like a fact. It is just what I think is going on with Game Freak. You're entitled to your own opinion. Let me know what you think about this whole situation down below in the comments. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more of my content 2 to 3 times a week. Typically 2 or 3. I already said that. Crap. Hit the bell if you want to see more of my content, and I will see you hopefully in the next video. Bye!